What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode here at Palmer Aquatics. Today's a species spotlight on the Black Skirt Tetra. I'm super excited about this one. Black Skirt Tetras, maybe one of my favorite dither fish, and I guess I call them a dither fish because they kind of like spread out aggression. They're kind of like a background fish. They're awesome for planted tanks. I'm gonna quit blabbing. Let's flip the camera and take a look at this beautiful fish while I'll explain to you how I personally take care of them. Sometimes people say that I go against the grain and don't talk about your boring generic stuff. I more or less kind of like to talk about the reality of keeping this fish and what you as a fish keeper need to know. So let's find which aquarium has the Black Skirt Tetras in it. Below it there's a Planet aquarium, and above it there is a piranha tank, so it must be this middle tank, right? This is a 75-gallon community aquarium, and I keep a lot of my nicer fish in here because it's a community fish, and tetras prefer a nicer community. And by the way, silver dollars are closely related to a lot of these tetras that we're going to be talking about, in particular the Black Skirt Tetra. You can see it right there. There are a couple different types of black skirts. There is like a fancy tail or veil tail, they'll call it, and then there's just regular ones. These have been, Black Skirt Tetra fish have been a staple to big chain pet stores forever, and they're a really cool fish, and they're pretty sturdy for the most part. But in general, if you're looking for a tank to, if you're wondering if your black skirt should be kept in your tank, what I always tell people is it needs to be a nice community aquarium. No cichlids, no, if you have fish bullying other fish, it's not going to work well with tetras because they're just super nice fish. They're skittish, they're afraid, they're timid, and it's just what they do. And a lot of times they actually like darker scenarios. A darker tank, maybe I used to have only half of this tank lit up because all the silver dollars and tetras really appreciated the darkness of just being able to hide. They love plant cover. Black skirts are a tremendous choice for planted tanks, and they do very well in planted tanks just because they have all of that coverage. And the goal here with tetras is to make them feel secure because they usually feel insecure, if that makes any sense. I guess what I'm trying to say here is do your best to try to make these fish feel more secure. I've said the word secure 20 times now, but it's a huge deal. And you will find that when your fish are super insecure, tetras, especially, they're going to die. And because when these fish get insecure, they are very unstable and they get sick very fast and they die very easily. A lot of people always message me saying, "Hey Chris, why do my tetra fish always die when I bring them back from PetSmart or any fish store in general?" It's because these fish are pretty fragile for the most part if they're insecure. So make sure your tank is fully cycled. Give them some hiding spots. As far as food, make sure the food is small enough to fit in their mouth. I find that a lot of people screw that up. And even though it may fit in their mouth, maybe they prefer like a pretty small, for the most part, I feed them the tropical granulars or else just flake food because they have tiny little mouths, and it's once you can get past the variables of getting enough hiding spots for them and having enough numbers of these fish together to shoal or school together, it kind of really helps them be more secure. Also, the tetras in general are more finicky as far as water temperature changes when doing your water changes. So when I fill this tank back up, because I'm doing a gravel vac and water change right now as you're watching this, I need to make sure that the temperature of the water going into the tank is close to what it was coming out of it. And these are tropical fish, obviously. They need to be kept at 78 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit at bare minimum. These are not cold water fish. And guys, as you can see, this tank is doing great. And here, let me flip the cam. I got some more things to say. And yeah, let's just flip the cam. So that sums up the water change, guys. Like I said, bringing in that new water, it needs to be adequate temperature of what the water was beforehand because tetras are super finicky with water temperature. So guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and do so. Also check out my regular channel, Palmer Aquatics. This is just the clips channel, and I kind of just do some uncut, winging it, It's kind of like backyard winging it, which I absolutely love, and that's why I decided to do 2 channels. So if you guys are wondering why 2 channels, all right, guys. I'm gonna head on out and continue to do some more maintenance and work on my fish shop, which is actually a like fish store that I'm building on the premise of my property. So, all right.